is there pressure as a man to be married?
Girl, let me tell you.
You are a virgin. Is that correct?
Imagine saying, all right, Lord, I'm about to sit down and then you be in the room with all them women. And it was a couple of them. I was like, Lord, come on, man.
Like, are you sure? No. Why do you think men are reluctant to coming to these events where they're talking about relationships?
A lot of the women in the church, and in general, a lot of them like the same few people. Like,
wow, the same type of man.
So we gonna bond it.
And cash you.
I was about to cast it.
Okay,
I'm on day 20 without flirting right now. So
okay, good job.
On day 20. Trust in that more than you trust in your ability not to have sex. Because you get by yourself and
okay,
you might fall.
Like a chair.
Oh,
our brother is protecting his purity and protecting his feet. This is Girl Talk About God with Porsha Love. Hey guys, it's your girl Porsha Love, and you are now tuning into another episode of Girl Talk About God. In a world where we can talk about anything and everything, girl, talk about God. I am so excited about this guest that we have on our show today. Maybe I should say, bro, talk about God. Because this is the first man of God that I have on the podcast today. He is an influencer. He is a creative. He is a comedian and all of the wonderful things. Most of all, he a man of God. Y'all give it up for my brother, Matthew Hudson.
Hey, intro though.
5'5"?
That's a 5. I like how you gave me the bro talk about God though. That's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Going on.
I had to switch it up for you a little
bit.
Switch
it up for me. Look out for me.
How are you doing?
Hey, I'm chilling, man. I'm in the building. You know what I'm saying? You doing your thing with the podcast, joint, man.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, I'm cool though.
You. I'm so happy for you even being here. Like, thank you. I know you was talking about getting out the house and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I understand how that could be. Well, you about to be outside a lot.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about who you are, why you about to be outside, you know, what you got going on and all of the things for those who don't know. I don't know how they wouldn't know because every time I'm on my Instagram, you're on the TL, okay, doing something very hilarious.
Trying to spread the good news and make people laugh at the same time.
Yes, absolutely.
But now, like, for those of y'all that don't know me, I'm Matthew Hudson. I'm the creator of God is Funny. Basically, I like to talk about Jesus and make people laugh so in hopes that they might find God, you know what I'm saying? So do a lot of content creation. You was on my comedy show one time.
Super funny.
You did one of the comedy shows.
Gosh.
So I appreciate you for that.
Thank you for having me.
But I'm outside right now. I'm on tour right now, Laughter and Truth tour. So me and my homie, shout out to Silas Hamilton. He's a rapper. He from Atlanta, but in New York right now. We on tour together. So we hitting a few cities. So Dallas, we need you to get y'all tickets.
Get
you know
the
what
ticket.
I'm saying? We hitting Chicago. We hitting Houston,
DC,
DC, New York. So
get
Laughter and Truth tour. Y'all make sure y'all hit the link in my bio and get the tickets. We outside right now.
ASAP, okay? I'm gonna need y'all to stop playing with my brother and get those tickets, period. So what made you want to do this Christian comedy thing, right? Like I said, I was doing a little bit of lurking, a little bit of digging, a little bit of studying. I saw a few interviews already. You know, I caught a whiff of the testimony already.
Yeah.
I knew that you were raised in God, you know, came up in God. But what made you make the choice of saying, like, you know what, I think I'm going to take this thing seriously, and I also want to give this gift that God has given me back unto God?
All right. Girl, let me tell you. Let me tell you.
Oh my goodness.
But nah, so yeah, like I grew up in church, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But it's crazy because, you know, I was a real quiet kid. I was a quiet one out of the bunch. So I got 6 brothers, you know what I'm saying? So
wow. No sisters.
No sister.
My Lord.
I got a stepsister, but you know, I didn't really grow up with her like that. But so I was a real quiet one. Like my favorite word was no. I wouldn't let nobody touch me. My dad was like, bro, like you wouldn't go to nobody, like, you know what I'm saying? So that was me. So I kind of came up through high school, and then I actually went to college. And the only reason I went to college is because, you know, they told me, like, you either got to get a job or go to school. And I was like, that's where you're going to find your wife at college. So I got to. But I really wasn't hitting on none in high school. So I was real shy. I wasn't talking to nobody, girls, or none of that. So I was like, man, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I went to school for, like, social work. But when I got to school, that's when people started telling me, like, yo, you funny. Yes. Like your older brother.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm just being myself. I'm not really doing that. You know what I'm saying? So as I continued to go through college, people say, man, you funny. We started making videos and whatnot. but I stopped, you know, because I was like, I'm in school. And my brothers and them kept going. They blew up and stuff like that. So I'm still like this shy dude, but I'm kind of coming out of my shell. So I graduate, and that's when like YouTube and Facebook and Instagram started coming out. So I was like, yo, like, let me just make some videos. So I started making videos, and then I was like, you know, well, I like to laugh. People think I'm funny, but I want to talk about Jesus too.
Yeah.
So I started combining the two, and I just started making content. And people was like, yo, you funny, bro. You need to keep doing, like, you need to do a show. So in 2019, I did my first show.
Wow.
But it's crazy. And then that's when I came up with the name God is Funny, because like he took this shy kid that didn't like, comedy was the last thing I wanted to do. So to see him like use all those like situations out through college to show me like, yo, this is what I'm making you into. Yeah. Like, yo, that's funny, because
that's not what you wanted to do.
Being on stage in front of people, like actually people buying tickets and stuff like that was not a part of mine. So it's like funny. It's like, dang, Lord, you used somebody that was like real quiet and stuff, like to actually bring, like, I didn't smile. Like, my face.
Not you didn't smile.
I wasn't smiling.
What was going on?
I was frowning all the time. Like,
now you making other people smile.
I'm making people laugh. So it's like,
wow,
yo, that's
cool.
funny. Like how he he takes the weak things and then he uses them for his glory. It's like, yo, I'm making people laugh, and it's still kind of surreal. So that's how I kind of got into comedy.
Wow, I love that. I can relate in the area of music.
Yeah.
So I never wanted to be like a rapper growing up. I always had the gift of rap, but I thought it was masculine.
Right.
So when I was younger, I'm like, I don't want to be no rapper, like, or, you know, especially before Christ and before I, you know, started rapping gospel. Like I said, I wasn't, well, I don't think I told you, but I wasn't raised in a church. So, you know, I didn't have that background.
Right, but look at you now.
Like, yes, the Lord has redeemed me. Praise Him.
Yeah.
So before Christ, you know, of course I was rapping of the things of the world because that's where I was. Yeah. And I would hide the fact that I could rap because I thought like I said, I thought it was masculine, or I just thought maybe people wouldn't receive me well with this gift. Right. So when God saved me, I didn't know that Christian rap existed. So I just gave up rap in general. And then I discovered Trip Lee. Right. You know, Trip? Yeah, he's super fire. So I discovered a song called I'm Good by Trip Lee. And I said, okay, this is Christian. Like, I can do this thing, you know. And the Lord birthed out the gift of me doing Christian music. Right. But at first I was resistant. And God will put those people who don't want to be in the front. Yeah. And people think because you're succeeding, because you're excelling in what you're doing, that you actually want to be here. Yeah. It's like most pastors don't want to be pastors. Most preachers don't want to be most people who are anointed to do what they want to do. They probably started off not wanting to do it. Right, you know, so one thing that I noticed that you said in a previous interview was that you did it because it was who you were. You came from a place of, well, I am a Christian. Yeah. I don't want to talk about other things that I'm not living. What would you say for people in general outside of, you know, just creating or whatever, creating from that place of you, creating from that place of being genuine? What would you say to them? Because you are currently living out the reward of doing that. Yeah.
I would say I'm actually learning that now. So I probably can speak to it a little bit from the knowledge that I've recently learned. Is like I'm learning to essentially just tell the story of like how I came up. Like tell the story like, yo, how did God use you specifically? Wow. Because I actually did a comedy set at this like marriage conference walkathon thing, and it was crazy because after I got off stage, I was talking to the security guard and all the people, all the people that was there that had the knowledge. Like it was a security guard that came up to me. He's like, yo, like, all you got to do is learn to tell your perspective, because nobody has your perspective but you. Wow. So it's like I've been doing comedy, but I'm just now learning like, yo, like I'm a Christian, and all I really have to do is tell my story. I don't have to get so bent up as like, yo, I got to make sure I include God here and here. It's like, yo, like God has used me. Like, tell that story. Yeah. And then people can identify, yo, like just how you identify with that song, people can identify with like, yo, you been through that. I didn't even know like that could be a thing. Yeah. But you don't got to tell nobody your story but yours. That's so good. And then you'll find the right people. So I would tell people to be encouraged by like how the God has used you and kind of how he brought you up. And then you'll be surprised like what he can do with that. You know what I'm saying? So. Oh,
I love that. I really, you know, I can testify of that for sure. So thank you for sharing. I really enjoyed that testimony. I'm hollering. Okay, so let's pivot a little bit and get a little bit in your business. You know what I'm saying? Man. So I be peeping your content.
Yeah,
you know, I love what it's centered around.
Yeah.
It's not exclusively this, but it does have like a wonderful niche, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
In the area of romance, okay? in the area of romance, update the people on what's going on in Matthew Hudson's life. Just a little bit. Don't give too much, you know what I'm saying? But let them know what's going on. Because you said in college you really wasn't hitting on nothing. So has things changed?
In high school, it wasn't hitting on nothing in high school.
Really? Okay,
When I got to college, that's when
it was a little better.
That's when women started actually like, oh, y'all like me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know, because I was, you know what I'm saying, yeah, it was a struggle in high school, but college came around, it was just like, oh man, Matt, we want to talk to you. And I'm like, dang, okay, so
yeah.
But I grew up in church, so I wasn't with none of that, like that
gyrating,
I wasn't really, like, I was scared of God. I was like, bro, I ain't doing nothing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I think like right now, you know what I'm saying, I'm kind of on the bench right now, because it's been rough for me, man.
It's been rough.
I mean, dating ain't been bad. Mm-hmm. It just ain't been successful. You know what I'm saying? So
but has it?
Huh?
But has it? I guess success would be based off of perspective. Like, is your success marriage, or is your success okay?
Success for me is like actually committing and like deciding, yo, I want to spend my life with this person.
Wow, amen.
So it's been a success. I guess you can say it's been a lot of like lessons learned.
Okay.
So you can find success in that. It's like, I learned this about me.
Yeah.
But I think right now, it's like, man, I feel like the Lord is like, all right, bro, Matt, sit down, bro. Because
really?
Yeah, because
not sit down.
He was like, man, just sit down and really like, because I think I need to do that personally, because it's like, man, I just stopped dating somebody maybe like not too long ago.
Really?
Yeah. But I probably shouldn't have been, dating at the time, because I actually was in a relationship a couple years ago for like a year and a half.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and I actually thought that one was the one that was, like, we cool, we friends. Like, for me, for that situation not to work out, it's like, well, dang, like, you would think that, like, you've been friends for a long time and you have, like, you both believe in Jesus and things. You would think, like, yo, like, this was
my person.
Being friends with somebody is like, especially for a long time, is something like people dream of. Like, I wish I had that level of friendship with a person, but it's like, all of that, and it still didn't work. It's like, dang, man, like, you got to kind of go back to the drawing board. And then being older, it's like, you got to.
It gets tiring.
It get tiring, and then you got the expectation of to still be hopeful after failed attempts all the time. It's just like, man, that's a lot to fight through. Then you got to think about, yo, when is a good time for me to get back out there? And I think I might have got back out there a little bit too soon, because I probably still need to wean out of a lot of emotions that were connected. So after the last little situation I was in, which was cool, it wasn't bad or anything, but I think ultimately, like, it just wasn't the best fit.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, yo, let me sit down somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy because everywhere it been crazy.
Listen, okay, everybody popping out.
Folk popping out, and then so I've been on the road since early February.
Wow.
And I've been in the rooms with collectively. I did a February Valentine's Day show.
I saw that. Congratulations.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
I did a February 15th show in Virginia.
Wow.
So at February 14th, we did a show. It was 130 people max. 10 of them were maybe 2 of them were men.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's usually how it be sometimes.
The 15th, the same thing. I did a show on the 15th in Atlanta, the same thing.
Wow.
I went to Virginia. It was like maybe 500 people in there plus. Maybe 30 of them were men.
Man.
And then I just did a show at NC. Maybe 1 guy was men. So I done been in a room with a lot of, but imagine saying, all right, Lord, I'm about to sit down, and then you be in the room with all them women there. It was a couple of them. I was like, Lord, come on, man.
Don't like, are you sure?
I'm like, I can't. I was like, this one is.
Let me just ask Instagram. Let me just get the IG.
Yeah, one girl I saw, I was like, dang, she cute. I was like, but I ain't gonna say nothing.
Yeah.
And then I randomly see her. I ain't even look for her like that on Instagram.
Okay.
She popped up. I was like, Lord, stop playing, bro.
Like
you playing. So I'm like,
God's almighty.
I'm gonna wait. I ain't gonna jump right now. I ain't finna jump because I just feel like I really need to deal with.
But did you follow her?
No, because if I follow her, I'm for me, like Instagram is my playground. I get down on Instagram. I ain't gonna lie.
Go down in the DM.
But I try to keep it holy. You know,
yes.
I keep it. I don't be trying to do too much, but
right,
I know,
amen.
Like, if I find you on Instagram, because that's my lane, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm still a little shy.
Okay, really?
So I'm still a little shy. So
Okay.
if I could laugh at someone on the gram and stuff, I can.
Mm.
So following, you know, so I got to be careful right now because that's when I get to flirting. And I'm on day 20 without flirting right now. So
okay, good job.
You're on day 20.
My brother keep it cow.
I'm trying to keep it cool right now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So you talked a little bit about how you went to these events and it was less men than it are women than it was women.
Yeah.
And we have been experiencing that as somebody who also, you know, hosts events and has done things with you. Thankfully we didn't have that. Like we had a really good turnout.
We had a good mix.
We had a good mix.
Yeah.
It still was more women than men. That's just in the world in general. There are more women than men.
Right.
But why do you think, as a man, why do you think that is? Why do you think it is 5 men to 100 women at the church services? Like, why do you think men are reluctant to coming to these events where they're talking about relationships?
I had that same problem with like comedy shows because my first comedy show and on my tour was like all women, and I don't know if it has. I wonder if it has anything to do with like incorporating Jesus in it because I don't. It seems like that. It seems to be like that across the board. It's like, yo, any type of event, not just even like the relationship one.
Yeah.
Like, why is it that, you know, when we put events, because, you know, Atlanta do that.
Yeah.
And you always find like more women with less men. Like that's something I'm still trying to figure out. But I think for me, if I wasn't to go, I probably wouldn't go to events like that because maybe it's just like, it ain't really, I don't really feel like it's catered to men for something. It's like, this is a space where women are encouraged. They are more for the women. Maybe I don't feel like this is a space where I can actually come in there and really be truthful about how I feel about dating or my perspective on like women and not bad, but just like dating in general. Is like, maybe it's just, I feel like it's set up for women to like do their thing and men are just kind of like on the outside. I don't really have an answer. Yeah. But I feel like if you want to get more men there, I feel like one strategy that I know is like if women invite men to those things, like, yo, bro, come with me.
He's more likely to go.
Yeah, and then, you know, men probably coming in groups like, bro, I want to go to this event, it's a dating thing, like, come with me. So that could be, but I feel like that's an area where we're still trying to figure out, like, how do we get more men involved? But I'd be wondering if it has to do with like men and their relationship or their view of like who God is.
Yeah. I can understand that because even with the event that we did a few years ago, I was just walking up to people. I said, here, brother. I ain't even go to the ladies because I know they was gonna come. And I was like, brother, here you go. Here a flyer, you know, let me airdrop it to you. Like, be here. And a lot of them was telling me about the pressure they would feel. You know, I understand what it's like as a woman to have pressure, especially as you get older, to get married. It's like it's a pressure. But the men were telling me, oh, I feel pressured. Like they feel like they couldn't just go to have a good time. Yeah. They feel like it would be an expectation on them to meet somebody or, you know, get involved with somebody or get someone's number. Like they didn't feel like they could just go and have a good time. They felt the pressure. Could you talk a little bit about that from a man's perspective of the pressure? Is there pressure? Because I know you talked about, I know you talked about, you know, getting out of a relationship and then getting too soon into another talking situation. Did that come out of pressure? Is there pressure because you've been, you know, unmarried for a good amount of time, you know, all your life, but you've been actively seeking marriage and still being unmarried for a good amount of time. Is there pressure as a man to be married?
I feel like I don't feel like it's that much pressure at least for me in particular. Like I do feel like there's a level of like you know, how I feel like there's more pressure to be like what we have to be in order to get married. So it's like you don't gotta, like, my dad was like, yo, take your time and get yourself together. You will have time. But there's a pressure to, I feel like men deal with is, yo, at what level do I need to achieve in order to like be married? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what level of like
when is the time?
Yeah, like it's like when girls say, I don't mind him like having a vision and like building something, but what does it actually look like? Because if I'm building and let's just say financially it's not stable, or you know, even men that's growing in their walk spiritually, like, yo, I'm not here, but like, what's the level? Like, what level do I have to be in? Is like, and then when we achieve that level, we realize when you actually get married and stuff, yo, it's actually a lot more that's required to actually make this thing successful. So I feel like I deal with that pressure, or a lot of men deal with that pressure more than like, yo, you need to get married. You need to get married. He's like, no.
You need to
I think they're telling us you need to be prepared. Like, you need to have this in order, and this in order. And it's like, I don't want to just be known for or be seen as like what I could provide or what I could do. Like, like in those spaces, you're like, yo, I want to be received for just who I am. Like,
that's good.
I want to show up and just be Matt. And not Matt. Oh, Matt,
the provider.
does this and does that. So, I think that probably can kind of tie into like those spaces as well. But that's where I feel like the pressure comes from. Like,
that's
yo,
good.
You should be this.
To
qualify for this. And I even feel like the relationship, just in relationships I've been in, that's always been like but dang, if this didn't work out, all right, let me go back and work on myself, which is, it's a good thing, but like, I don't want it to be like too far left. And so I got all this money now, like now I'm ready, because that's not even true. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Wow, that's good. When you talked about the timeline of knowing when it's right to get into a relationship as a man, I think that is so good, because so many things that we are taught is so contradictory to each other. So women are taught prepare for marriage, but it's like a pressure. It's like a rush. Men are taught, okay, make sure you got your stuff in order, but you're never taught when is it in order? Like, do I have to wait till I'm a millionaire? Do I have to wait until like who chooses the standard? You know, and I think that is just society, and it's not God. You know, and I think as believers, it's really important for us as men and women to ask God, Lord, when is the right time for you? Like, what do you think for me? Not my own understanding. So do you believe that is a reason why some men are not pursuing as much as women would desire for them to? Because just, you know, I just got married, you know. I'm only
congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, I'm only 3 days out here. But, you know, coming from being single for 11 years, it's like, where the men at? And if they hear, they not talking to me. If they hear, they just staring and being weird. You know, and not just with me, it's an experience that has happened with my friends, with other women, just in general. It's like, why are these men afraid, or it's coming off as they're afraid to pursue? But really, maybe it's just because their dad has told them, make sure you got X, Y, and Z together. Make sure you do this, and that. Make sure you know what I'm saying? So what do you think is the reason for the pause or the caution or the hesitancy for men of God nowadays to pursue?
I think it's a lot of reasons. One of them I do want to say, like, biblically, I think the Bible does encourage us as men to, like, I think it's a passage in Proverbs, I forget exactly where, but it essentially says like build your house and then kind of like build your family. So there is a level of like, yo, like the Lord making us into the men that He is calling us to be before He actually releases. That's crazy using release. That's Christian lingo. Like before He like really like allows us to you know, go into a space of marriage. I do think that's a thing as well. So it's a healthy side of it. It's a biblical side, but I think sometimes it's taught, especially like in social media. You see it like, yo, you got to do this, you got to do that. So I think it's a matter of like filtering like all of that through like the lenses of the scripture, which I think is important, like to always, you know, reading the scripture like, all the time. I think another thing is I did like this video on like dating in church masterclass. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I think there are a lot of men that are interested in women, but I think a lot of it sometimes is like let's just say, since there's like a big woman to men ratio, like 10-1 sometimes. So it's like a lot of the women in the church, and in general, a lot of them like the same few people. Like,
wow, the same type of man.
The same type of man. That's like you can have like 10 men in church, but it's only 2 of them that women probably like. Oh, he would be like I like him.
Yeah,
which is cool. You can do that, but then that also creates like you kind of overlooking a lot of guys in the church as well.
A whole lot
that are actually interested in you. And we be doing that too. It's a lot of girls that may, be interested in me or another guy, but I'm looking at the one over here.
The
but
spot thinking of thighs.
Right. You know what I'm saying? That maybe in church sometimes, but like, but you gotta, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's a mixture. I think it's part of that is that as well, because I know a lot of solid guys that have a hard time with women, but it's just like, I feel like there are a lot of men that desire men and that have made attempts, but it just like hasn't been successful because they not really desired like that. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And then I think the final thing is like, I think dudes do be scared sometimes. Like I'm definitely be one of them. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't past you know what I'm saying? Then last summer, man, I must have got outside a little bit too much, and I was just approaching him. I was like, yo, this is new, but let me dial it back because now I'm trusting in my own self to. But I think there's a level of like, I feel like there are a lot of pressures to like, yo, you got to have this together in order to even try to approach this type of woman. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think men sometimes know it's like, I know I can't. I know I got to have myself in order together a little bit more to approach this type of woman. But I think sometimes the way that we're taught is like, it's all about what we can produce. And if we feel like we're not producing, then it's like, what's the point of even trying to holler? You know what I'm saying? What's the point of like trying to actually get married, even though I desire it? So sometimes we just like, all right, let me sit back, get myself together. But
you never know.
We don't really even know. I think a lot of it is like, the only indicator we really know is, yo, if I got money, I'm qualified to like have a family or a wife, but that's just that's a lot from the enemy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, for sure. Because some things you won't even get until you get your favor.
Right.
Which is your wife.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I heard about that. I heard it's another level.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, my husband will be able to attest to it. I can't.
I've been seeing what y'all been doing.
No, the Lord has been blessing. You know, and don't let us add some fasting and prayer on it, okay? The blessings be coming out of nowhere. Lord Jesus, I knew it was quick, but goodness. You know, so I do want to encourage the men of God out there to, yes, definitely prepare, as we all should, men and women. But there is a level that there's a level of favor that your wife is ordained to bring to your life. And I think that it's very important for us to just, what it boils down to is following the voice of God. And you may not think that you're ready. We didn't think we was ready. When me and my husband we was friends. And we didn't think we was, I'm like, okay, we just kicking out. I'm thinking we just gonna have a cute little date. No, this is my husband, you know? So it does come when you least expect it. And it does come at a time where you think you may not be ready, but God knows, you know? So I would encourage men of God, okay, as long as you have a heart of, doing what you got to do, you got a little bit of coin saved up, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, maybe she will add to what you have, which she's anointed to do that, if she's anointed to be your wife. You know what I'm saying? So don't allow the material things to hinder you from getting married or even hinder you from dating. You know, just hear the voice of God. And even if you feel like it's not the time, you don't know until God tells you. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's really good. Okay, just two more things. This is really good. It's blessing me. So you are a virgin. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure. Period. So being a man of God who is also a virgin, who is also, seeking to be married, navigate that. How do you operate in your purity? How do you protect your purity as a man? Just talk a little bit about that for the brothers who may be listening, for some of the women who may be listening. Some things that you are intentional about when it comes to protecting your purity. You're creative, you're popular, you're, you in front of people all the time. I'm sure your DMs is full, okay? So
I get a few DMs.
I mean, just a little bit. So how do you navigate that as a man who wants to be married, but you're also being intentional about putting your purity first?
First thing I would say is the way that I was taught about like sex and all that stuff was like, yo, just don't have sex. just don't do it.
Yeah.
It's not of God and stuff like that. But they never really taught me in all their efforts, and I think it was a great foundation. They never really said like why, like what was the, like why should I not do this? So we don't really teach a person why, and they said they're being successful at not having sex. They start wearing it as a badge of honor. It's like, yo, I'm abstaining, like I'm doing the things.
They make it their identity.
And that's what I did. Like, yo, I used to try to make stuff about, man, I'm a virgin, this and this, and I look back at that stuff like no, I was operating a lot of pride because I thought it was in me. I was the reason why I wasn't having sex, but
God kept you.
Right. So God kept me. So when
That's
I, ran into like the grace of Jesus Christ, and I realized, oh, he did all these things for me. That actually gives me like my why. Like I've done this for you, so I'm going to put my spirit in you. I'm going to make you righteous, and that's going to strengthen your ability to live for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I know that he loves me. So Lord, like, man, thank you for all of this. Like I wanna honor you, and one of the ways that I honor him is like, yo, like sex was created for us to enjoy it in the confines of marriage. So I want to honor you. By, like I want to, like, my body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. Like I'm not finna just treat this any kind of way. Like my body's not my own. Like that's the reason why I was able to like abstain, because of the knowledge of how good he is and like, what he did and his depth of his love. So I think that's the first thing that, like, if you a virgin, it's not because of you. It's because
y'all hear that?
It's because of what Jesus did that empowers you to live that lifestyle. He made you righteous. So trust in that more than you trust in your ability not to have sex, because you get by yourself and you might fall.
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying?
Like a sheriff.
Exactly.
Wow, that's good.
I think now that I understand it from that perspective, it becomes less about me not having sex, but more of like being being made new, being pure at heart. It's just like, yo, I want to honor the Lord. And one of the ways that I do that is just kind of like, yo, I appreciate what you did, Lord. Like I ain't trying to have sex out here. I do now. Yeah. I do want to cross over into that threshold.
Okay, and soon.
Under
the confines of marriage.
Right. When amen.
Yeah.
But
right now you just honoring your temple.
Yeah. So navigating that is more of like, because I ain't gonna lie, it's not having sex is just one thing, but it's like not in. It's kind of like what's the dude name that was in the Bible? Potiphar's wife, Joseph.
Oh yeah, Joseph.
So when it comes to sexual temptation, man, God don't really give a lot of like, yo, do this. Like he basically say, yo, just run, because you can't negotiate with it.
Wow.
Like as soon as you think like, oh, yo, I can handle this.
It's a heart posture.
Right.
Yeah.
You will be like, you'll fold.
Yeah.
Joseph was like, when Potiphar's wife was coming to him day after day, pressuring him, he was like, yo, like, my master he gave me power over all of this except for you. Like, how can I commit this sin against the Lord? It's like, there's something he knew in order to keep him from like falling in the error. So it's like, one of the ways that I try to do is like, yo, when I'm feeling that type of way, and that's another thing. Yeah. It's okay to feel. You don't got to suppress those desires.
Because you're human.
Right.
Yeah.
And God gave them to you.
Right, exactly.
So he understands.
Yeah, you're supposed to submit those desires.
Right.
Don't suppress them or hide them or be ashamed of them.
Mm-hmm. And I'm 36.
Really?
So the desires
listen.
Yeah.
Matt is out here, okay?
Hey, man, I'm yet holding on.
Listen, he hold it down.
I'm 36, and it's like the desires be desired. I'm like, Lord, come on, man. Like, I thought this was it, and this, but when I have those moments, like, you really have to be like, yo, Lord, like, I'm feeling this way. I have to invite you in, and that's the only way that I know, like, in order to, I guess, be successful is like, you can't negotiate with it, and you have to invite Jesus in those moments when it's like, Lord, I don't think I can hold on. I did a lot of accountability, like even on tour right now, I got my homies with me, and it's a lot of women.
Yeah, I'm sure.
There's a lot of women that enjoy my content.
Yeah.
So they come out to the shows, and I was like, hey, bro, like if you see me in this situation, bro, I need you to, step
reel
in
me back in.
Kind of reel me back in.
I love that.
And don't even let me like don't let me get by myself or anything like that.
Listen here, Jezebel. You gonna get the ticket and get the Lord, okay?
And we gonna bind it. We gonna in
bind
the name,
it up and cash it.
I was about to cash it.
Okay, listen. You going to the show for the Lord.
For the Lord only.
Okay, if God put it on my brother's heart to pursue you, he will do that.
Yes.
Okay, but don't you come up in his face with your Jezebel spirit. Leave my brother alone. Thank you.
Let me sit down for a second. I promise I'll be back on there taking applicants.
Yeah,
real soon.
Well, he already got one in the liking, and when he ready to follow, well, he gonna do that. So if you ain't the one that he talk about, don't even try it.
Oh,
my brother is protecting his purity and protecting his peace.
Yeah, so I think when it comes to like navigating, just waiting to marriage, sexual temptation, it's really just like making sure you like inviting Jesus to it. Like Jesus is the reason why we have this ability.
Yeah.
And I think focus more on him than the act of like battling sex. Mm-hmm. Like keep your eye on him, and then he'll teach you how to do all of and keep yourself and all of that stuff.
All of the other stuff. Yeah. I love that. I love that, bro. Okay, so of course this podcast is Girl. Talk about guy. So, bro, I want to ask you, what is God talking to you about in this season?
Let's see. I think one of the major things that I just learned that I feel like the Lord revealed to me about myself is like defensiveness.
Wow.
Yeah, like
that's good.
Really like since I can remember, it's like like I gotta get my point across. Like I used to feel like he's kind of sifting me through it, but it's this thing where it's like I feel like as a good guy, identifying somebody that's trying to be good, is like I do a lot. I feel like I treat people well. I do right by people. I try to be honest, and then if you're not careful, like you'll build your identity on that. And if somebody seemingly threatens it or they say something that attacks your character, you got to defend it. Yeah. But he was teaching me, like, you're not even responsible for your character in the first place. I'm the one that made you into the person who's like, wow. So why defend yourself? Like, let me do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing, because it shows a lack of trust in God. It's like, I have to fight for my character. And it's like, no, like, God I will defend you. You know what I'm saying?
Love that.
He's kind of been showing me that, like, like, I want to sift that out of you. And that I feel like that plays in the part not being ready for marriage, but I feel like that's a great, I feel like I thank him for letting me see that.
Yeah. So
it's like, I can deal with that before I actually, because I want to be a blessing to like somebody I'm talking to. And
for sure,
that right there is just like something he's like, I need you to trust me in these areas where you feel threatened, and let me, I'll defend you. Like, I'm responsible for the person that you are today. I've made you this way. So
I love that.
You don't got to defend yourself. You don't got to argue with nobody about who you are. Like,
God's gonna do it for you. Yeah. I love that. I love that.
And one last thing is like, even in those moments where I've defended myself, I never had like peace afterwards. It was always like, you feel like you right and justified, but like, why do I lack
your peace?
Gone. Yeah, it's like,
because you ain't let God fight for you.
I ain't let him fight. So that's what he's been showing me.
One thing, shout out to Child Like CC. One thing she said is God hit harder than me.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you let the Lord fight your battles, you ain't got to worry about it. Yeah. Matt, we just don't have enough time.
We don't.
We just don't got enough time. We're gonna have to bring you back.
Yeah.
But let the people know where we can find you at, if they want to book you, if they want to follow you. Let the people know.
Okay. Hit me up on Instagram. Don't slide in my DM for that purpose, but you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Matthew Hudson, MTTHW, HUDSON. That's my Instagram name. That's my TikTok. That's me on Facebook. But book me. All the stuff is in the link in my bio. The tour, we still on tour, so hit the link in my bio. Catch us on tour. That's what I'm on.
Fire. Well, thank you, Matt, so much for coming to our podcast. I am so very grateful. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Girl, Talk About God. I'm your girl, Porsha Love, and it's my bro,
man.
Until next time. Bye. This is Girl, Talk About God with Porsha Love.